Do you have trouble with your English fluency? Have you ever heard of the shadow technique? Today, in this video, let's talk about the shadow technique, why it's good for you, how you can do it, and then some tips to make it better for you. If you're ready to understand the shadow technique, let's get right into it. So first, let's talk about why shadowing is good for you. Shadowing is going to be you repeating something that someone else is saying, and it's going to be good for you because it's going to help you understand English on a deeper level. It is a good way to get you to start understanding the feeling and the rhythm of English, and it's also going to help you start thinking about English in a way that you might have never thought about before. You get real good practice at close listening, so you can start to understand the intonation, the melody, and the rhythm of English. These are all very important when it comes to speaking English, and I think it will give you a big leg up on helping you improve your English pronunciation. The way that you express yourself and the way that you use English can be greatly improved by using the shadow technique in your English practice. Shadowing makes you really pay attention to how something is being said, which is just as important as what is being said. This is also a great way that you can use to improve your English on your own. Since you don't need anyone to practice with, it's a real convenient way for you to improve your English in the comfort of your own home, when you're out and about, basically anywhere that you have access to something you can listen to and you can repeat it, you can do the shadow technique. So next, let's talk about how to do the shadow technique. And so basically what you're going to be doing is play the audio of someone speaking, and you're going to repeat the person that you're listening to. In this option, you're not going to pause to repeat. You're basically going to be repeating the person almost immediately after they say the spoken word. So whatever you're listening to it, you're going to play it, listen to it, and then repeat it immediately after. You can go line by line, and this is something that you can do anytime. You can even do it when you're out if you're not embarrassed about speaking or practicing when there's other people around. Focus here should be on repeating the accent just as you hear it. And on the first listen, you don't even necessarily have to focus on understanding what you're repeating. The second option you can do while using a script or a transcript of the speech. And here you can play one line, then I want you to pause that line, repeat that line, and then play the next line and repeat, and so forth and so on. This option is really a good way to focus on that portion of the speech that you're doing. You can also really work here more on your understanding, since you are going to have that script or that transcript right in front of you. And this option, I think also you'll start to notice little things that you might not pick up when you're repeating it immediately after in that first option. So this is really a way for you to focus in and get line by line, get the details down, start to notice little things in that person's speech that you're copying. So just choose one option that is good for you and try it out. Just make sure that it's something that you're comfortable with and go for it. Next, let's talk about some of the mistakes that you can make when you're doing the shadow technique. Okay, so one of the big things that you can do wrong when you're doing the shadow technique is not having a goal about what you want to learn. What are you going to be paying attention to? What do you want to work on? What do you want to improve with shadowing? And with shadowing, you're going to be copying someone's speech, but just copying is not your main goal. You want to be focusing on different parts of that speech that you're going to be imitating. Try to pick up on the rhythms and the intonation of the speaker. Where are those pauses coming? Why are those pauses coming? Each speaker has their own melody when speaking in English. Can you pick up on it? Do you know why they're doing it this way? So each time you are going to do shadowing, how about set out to try one or two things and then really focus in on those two things. By working with the goal in mind, you will already have a focus of what you want to work on today, so you can pinpoint those one or two things and really make a concerted effort to get better at those things that you're focusing on with this goal. And if you don't know what you're working towards, you just might get caught up in the listening, the repeating, and you're not really catching the different intonations, the different nuances in the person's speech. You're really just focused on the copying, and this is not what you want to do when trying to do the shadow technique. So for example, if your goal is to work on your intonation, you really want to be focusing in on the changes in that speaker's intonation. Why are they strong here and softer in other parts? By going in with your practice goal, you will know what to look for, and you can focus in on just that one thing while you're practicing. And when you feel comfortable, you can set a new goal and then move on to different things in English that you're not confident in, and then work on those. Set the goal so you have your antennas up and you can really focus in on that one part of speech that you want to learn. Once you notice it, you can change it. And once you change it, you can replace your old speaking habits with the new habits that you're trying to learn with the shadow technique. And I think that's really the benefit of shadow exercise. Okay, so here are some of the things that you can think about when using the shadow technique. First, choose a voice that you like. You want to do this because you want to find a voice that you like, of course, but also you don't want to get bored of this voice. You are going to be modeling your speech after this voice, so you want to make sure it's something that keeps you focused and motivated to continue studying, and not something that's going to put you off of studying. So really go out there and find a voice that you love. Second, it's okay to change the playback speed. So if it's something that's too fast for you and you're not able to catch it at first, change the speed to something a little slower, and this is going to be a big help when you're trying to learn. And when you're comfortable to get back to regular speed, you could also turn that speed back up at any time. And this is another good reason for you to use the shadow technique, because you can really control that environment. It's up to you how much you want to learn, how fast you want to learn, and how you want to learn. And changing the playback speed is something that'll work really well if you're using YouTube videos, using podcasts. So just go in, change the speed to your liking, and then you can always go back to regular speed once you get comfortable with it. I had a student that would change the speed when we were doing listening exams, and it was really a way for him to go back in there, make sure that everything that he thought he was hearing was actually what he was hearing, and it was a good way for him to improve his understanding and overall English fluency. I mentioned it before, but the third thing you can do is have your script or have a transcript with you. Depending on your listening level, having that script or that transcript with you is going to give you another way to make sure that you're really understanding what you're listening to. Try it once with the script, and then you can always go back and then try it without the script once you think you have it down. And just like we talked about before, whether you use a script or not, make sure you have that goal and then focus on that goal when you're practicing. The next thing you can do is record yourself shadowing the speaker and then go back and listen to it later. Match yourself against the speaker's voice and find out where you can improve. And I know it sounds like a lot of hard work, but it will be a real benefit to you and your English improvement if you can get this step down. You will start to notice a lot more things once you're listening to the recording, and sometimes it's just good to kind of separate yourself a little from what you're studying so that you can really focus in on those little mistakes or little differences that you might notice between the speaker and your recording. And once again, don't forget to set your goal and then focus on that goal before you start. Today, I want to focus on my intonation, on my melody, on my rhythm. Whatever it is, set that goal, try it out when you shadow. And another good tip you can think about is focus on certain parts of speech while you're doing shadowing. You don't have to go over everything in an episode or the video. You can just focus on that one small part, repeat it over and over again if you like, and that's okay too. So find the part that you like, go at it again and again, get it down. Once you feel comfortable enough, then you can move on to something different. The quality of your practice will be more important than how much of it that you practice. I hope this video helps you practice shadowing and improve your English skills. You could even use this video if you like. If this gave you any benefit at all, how about share this with someone else you think it will help? If you're interested in learning any other English, check out this video I'll leave right here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. See you.